This is absolutely hilarious. Am I the only person that thinks this is hilarious? I'm trying to. Is this the only time we've ever seen a situation like this happen, where a player has been suspended, not for a game, for a half? She's suspended for a half. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. She is suspended for a half a basketball game.
This is absolutely hilarious. Am I the only person that thinks this is hilarious? I'm trying to. Is this the only time we've ever seen a situation like this happen where a player has been suspended? Not for a game, for a half. She's suspended for a half. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. She is suspended for a half a basketball game. The Chicago Sky locker room has reached its breaking point, and Angel Reese has finally crossed a line that even her own teammates refuse to tolerate. What started as frustration with the disappointing season has escalated into an unprecedented meltdown that has left the franchise with no choice but to take drastic action against their supposed star player. According to the report, Reese said she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Bannum or Haley Benleth are capable of leading a playoff team. Guard Ariel Atkins is another player on the Sky roster with WNBA championship experience. Tyler Marr said, "We are aware of it. What Injury said, "We're addressing it in-house as currently speaking. That's where we'll stay right now." The woman who once proclaimed herself Caitlin Clark's equal has now become the cautionary tale of what happens when ego overrides team chemistry and public statements destroy private relationships. Did tell Front Office Sports the entire team has seen Reese's comments and they're basically unhappy with the direct attacks. They are even planning a team meeting to talk about it. We'll read you some of the excerpts, which does kind of not make her team look good. One of which say we can't rely on Courtney, that's Courtney Vanderloot, to come back at the age that she's at. I know she'll be a great asset for us, but we can't rely on that. We need someone probably a little younger with some experience. Somebody who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it before. Angel Reese's latest controversy isn't just about basketball performance. It's about character, leadership, and the basic respect that teammates deserve from one another. In what can only be described as a spectacular act of self-sabotage, Ree went public with criticisms so damaging that her own organization felt compelled to suspend her for making statements detrimental to the team. But this suspension was just the beginning of a complete organizational revolt that has left Reese's future in Chicago hanging by the thinnest of threads. Also, you guys remember the story, Angel Reese calling out her teammates, calling out the front office. You're a bum. You're a bum. You're a bum. You're a bum. Yeah, you ladies won't do it for me. Coach Marsh, can you please coach harder? Yeah, Angel Reese 48 hours later already backtracking on those statements. Already moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, he'd probably be proud how quickly Angel Ree is moonwalking from the comments she made. And I have an exclusive. The breaking point came when Ree told the Chicago Tribune that Chicago needs great players and refused to settle for the same we did this year. Those words might seem like competitive fire to some, but to her teammates, they represented the ultimate betrayal. A public declaration that none of them were good enough to share the court with her. Some of the other stuff that she said was also pretty bad. Like, I'm not settling for the same we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. I am willing and wanting to play with the best. And however I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this off-season. So, it's going to be very, very important this off-season to make sure that we attract the best of the best because we can't settle for what we have this year. So, her saying we can't settle for what we have this year, that is basically like a slap in the face to Becca Allen, that is a slap in the face to Rachel Bannum. That is a slap in the face to Ariel Atkins. Rachel Bannum, a veteran guard who has given everything to this franchise, felt blindsided by Reese's interview. While Ariel Atkins, who had consistently supported Ree through every controversy, finally reached her limit. Chicago Sky values safety, respect, and well-being of every player. We're committed to accountability so our players can save folks on playing basketball. Because of statements made by Angel Reese during league-mandated media, I've never seen this before where she is getting suspended for a half. Not a game. Not a game. One half. One half she's getting suspended for. That is absolutely hilarious. If you are enjoying, please subscribe. The great players comment wasn't just a general statement about roster construction. It was a direct attack on teammates who had battled alongside her through one of the most difficult seasons in franchise history. Reese specifically questioned whether Rachel Bannum or Hailey Van Lith were better prepared to lead a playoff team. She dismissed 36-year-old Courtney Vanderloot, saying the team couldn't rely on someone at the age that she's at and needed someone probably a little younger with some experience. These weren't strategic discussions held in private team meetings. These were public executions disguised as basketball analysis. To be here for the rest of my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me. And listen, I totally get that because if you are somebody with a lot of star power, you don't want your career just like rotting away in a play, especially this guy. The GM Jeff Puglaka, he absolutely sold this guy's future. He traded away draft picks for this like win now mentality and who he drafted. Now, I don't want to speak bad about Hailey Van Lith, but she has not had a mentor to actually mentor her to be any proper type of point guard. So, she's kind of been flying in the dark. She hasn't exactly proven her worth in the D. The most damning aspect of Reese's public statements wasn't just what she said, but how she said it. While Caitlin Clark spent her rookie season dealing with physical play, hostile crowds, and intense scrutiny while lifting her teammates and organization to new heights, Reese chose to tear down the very people who had supported her through thick and thin. The contrast couldn't be more stark. Clark elevated everyone around her during adversity, while Reese threw her teammates under the bus at the first sign of organizational struggle. This is the reason I have spent the last few years referring to the WNBA as a dump. This is the reason I don't feel bad when I refer to the WNBA as a toxic turd. Not only have they damn near ruined their opportunity with Caitlin Clark, the dump diver they chose to support the pretend basketball player they have spent the last 2 years begging. I mean begging you to support. They desperately want her to be accepted. They are desperate to make her a star. Not only has she been rejected by normal people, Angel Reese is now being rejected and potentially kicked off of her own team. The reaction from her teammates was swift and devastating. Multiple league sources confirmed that the entire Sky roster had seen Reese's comments and were unhappy with the direct attacks. A players-only meeting was immediately called, not to support their supposed star, but to address the damage she had inflicted on team morale. During this meeting, Ariel Atkins, who had been one of Reese's most vocal supporters throughout her career, addressed Reese directly, making it clear that her behavior was unacceptable. Rachel Bannum's response to the controversy revealed the depth of hurt Reese's comments had caused. "I think I just don't really care," she told the Chicago Sun-Times. "I'm so over all of this. If I was younger, it would have affected me more, but I'm grown and I just don't care." The resignation in Bannum's voice wasn't just about basketball. It was about the realization that someone she had supported and played alongside had publicly declared her inadequate. The veteran guard admitted she felt blindsided by the interview, highlighting how Reese had ambushed her own teammates without warning. Angel Reese earlier in the week in an interview threw her Chicago Sky teammates under a bus and then ran the bus over them and then backed up the bus, bouncing over them again and then proceeded to drive over them one more good time just to be sure that their carcasses were no longer twitching. It was one of the most memey selfish-ass interviews I've ever heard from any athlete trashing her very own team. Meanwhile, Ariel Atkins, who had previously defended Reese against criticism, supported the organization's decision to suspend their star player. "Ownership handled it how they see fit," she told the Sun-Times. "They have full support from our team." When asked if she had been in contact with Reese since the team meeting, Atkins revealed she hadn't, a telling sign of how completely Reese had alienated even her strongest supporters within the locker room. The Chicago Sky's response was unprecedented in its severity. While the initial half-game suspension might have seemed mild, Sources within the organization revealed that this was just the beginning of disciplinary action that could ultimately see Reese removed from the team entirely. The franchise released a statement emphasizing their commitment to accountability and ensuring players can stay focused on playing basketball. A clear indication that Reese's drama had become a distraction the organization was no longer willing to tolerate. Getting suspended for a first half. What is this college football? I've seen in college where people would get suspended for a half. Not in the pros. People getting suspended for a half game in the pros. Just suspend her for the whole game. Y'all don't have nothing to lose. Y'all don't have nothing to lose. If you're going to suspend her, just suspend her.